Twitter is where nuance goes to die, and it has certainly died a very horrible death this week in relation to this story. The nub of this story is an absolutely enormous bill, like an eye-watering amount of money to spend on iPad data. But there are then separate issues that go into that. Firstly, there's why is it, irrespective of what he was doing, which I'll get to in a second, why is it so expensive, right? So what's going on with the network that makes that so expensive? The second thing I think that goes into it is why is any MSP of any party being put in this position by the Scottish Parliament? I would expect that the employer would be going into the office, taking the iPad, changing the SIM card and giving it back. That would be my expectation of a decent IT team at an employer. And then there's the third issue of what was Michael Matheson doing on his parliamentary iPad that required this amount of data. Now, we don't know the answer to actually any of these questions yet. I'm not implying it's a complete non-issue, but I do dislike the way that we have automatically dealt with it, which I don't think it's peculiarly Scottish, but I do think that we tend to engage very heavily in trivialities rather than issues of substance. If the opposition want to attack Michael Matheson, there's plenty to attack Michael Matheson on. Our health service has crumbled and nobody is doing anything about it, and he is the health secretary. So I have no problem with them going on the attack with Michael Matheson. But here's what I have a problem with. We really struggle in this parliament to attract good people. We really, really struggle. We spoke about this months ago with Adam Tompkins, if you remember, who said that he reckoned there were 10 to 15 good MSPs and the rest were dross, his words, not mine. We struggle to attract good people. I don't think we pay politicians enough. I think that's one thing, but it's probably for a different podcast. My point is, well, does this sort of story, does this help our politics or hinder our politics? Michael Matheson might well resign this week. He might go. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he does. How is that helping? Who has that helped? Now, when the opposition go on about WhatsApp messages for COVID, right, that's different. That's quite legitimate. That's important that we know what has been discussed during COVID. This is, in my view, an unimportant story. I understand why it attracts attention. I understand £11,000 is a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this is an unimportant story, and it frustrates me that all we do in this country is get ourselves excited about this sort of crap.